Well, first of all, what are the reasons that the voter turnout that you need are not there? And how can we, as an individual, best affect that?
Now you guys are getting to tick me off. You know, I mean, I thought you wanted to know why I picked orange and blue for my campaign. Yeah, so fortunately or unfortunately, I think fortunately, I mean, Jacob is going to be involved in a primary on August the 11th, right?
Correct.
Yeah, our primary was done on May 17th, and it was pretty much done at that point. Third district wasn't touched. We didn't really think it would. It's considered a safe Republican district. If you want me to tell you why, I think that's a load of crap, I'll tell you. But it was considered, and I think Mike Rogers, there was some conversation at one point that we would go back to the old district, the 2022 district, that would put Etowah County back in the 4th district, and then 3rd district will get Macon and Russell County. And people were calling me up and asking me what I thought about that, and I said, I would love to represent the people of Gadsden, and that would be great. But if they're gonna give me Tuskegee, and they're gonna give me all of Phoenix City, I'm on the road tomorrow with push cards, okay? And I knew that, I didn't think that would happen, because I knew Mike Rogers didn't want to campaign in Macon County. And that's exactly what happened. So there's a whole bunch of questions there that need to be answered. Number one, part of it's purely about money. You know, you can look out how much money I've been given on the Federal Election Commission website. It's pretty straightforward, kind of depressing. But you know, I tell people, I was talking with a donor yesterday, and that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, calling donors, and telling him that I haven't charged this campaign once for gas or a hotel room. I'm paying that out of pocket just because I believe in this so much. But my opponent has spent $1.8 million and has another million in the bank. You know, what he's spending it on, he spent over $150,000 on digital advertising. I don't know what that is. So there's a money issue. We're going to have to start sending out mailers in a couple of weeks. And we waited as long as we could to do that because those cost money. And we just have had to, you know, what I would like to have started issuing campaign materials earlier. Yeah, we have signs in the back as well, yard signs, if you want a yard sign. But we weren't able to buy them as early as I wanted to because we couldn't afford them. So we are literally a grassroots campaign, and we're going to win by going out and shaking people's hands and looking them in the eye. Which for rural Alabama, for those of y'all who know about rural Alabama, is the way you convince people to trust you. Not by sending them a postcard, but by saying, hey, my cousin met that guy, and he seemed all right. Okay? How do we motivate people to go to the polls? Alabama's voter turnout is some of the worst in the nation. And I think that's down to one simple thing. People are convinced that they don't have a voice. 16 years of single-party rule in this state has ruined a lot of democratic processes. So I think what we have to do this year is do things like elect Doug Jones as governor, elect Everett West as senator, elect Lee McInnis as Congress from the 3rd district. We need to prove to people that the democratic process still works in this state. And once we prove that, then we have some other things we have to overcome, like you said, like gerrymandering. And that's going to take time. This is not going to be something that's going to be solved on November 3rd. We're going to start that process on November 3rd, but it is not something that we're going to solve this year. But it's going to take persistence. Now, what you can do, how many in here are registered to vote? Okay, keep your hands up. Keep your hand up if you had checked your registration in the last month. Good, I'm proud of you guys. Most people don't realize Wes Allen wrote 6,000 people off the voter rolls last year and didn't notify any of them. He has put an untold, because he won't tell us, number of thousands of people into an inactive status without telling them. So I encourage people to go out and check their voting, go to Alabama Voter View and check your voter registration every month. When you sit down and pay your bills on the 1st of the month, take 3 minutes and go to Alabama Voter View and make sure you're still registered to vote. Because I have had, I don't know how many people come up to me and say, I found out I'm inactive. What does that mean? It means you need to call the Secretary of State's office to get that fixed immediately. Because what they're going to do, Brian Kemp became governor of Georgia by 2 weeks before the registration deadline, wrote 600,000 people off their voter rolls in Georgia and did not let them know. Stacey Abrams sued, it was illegal, but those people didn't really have a fair chance to re-register. So we need to keep aware of that. And then the last thing you need to do is you need to talk to your friends. I know being a blue dot in a red state is painful. Trust me. You know, I get called a communist to my face about twice a week. It's not easy to just let people know that you're going to vote for a Democrat. I know people up in Clair County who will not come to Democratic Party meetings because if they're seen walking into the party headquarters, they will get kicked out of their book club. I know that's hard, but you have to talk to your friends and your neighbors and let them know it's okay to be a Democrat. And then we can get all those Democrats to vote, and we can swing some independents and a few Republicans. We'll sweep this district without any problem. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was thinking about, you know, just on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Who can
Okay.
we
So you got 4 minutes of nothing, and then I gave it to you in the last 30 seconds. That's not, yeah, go commiserate with my wife when you leave. Yeah, no, it's going to be that face-to-face contact and let them know to people who, well, yeah, he's a good guy, he's all right. What do you mean he's a Democrat? Well, you know, they know you. And they know that if you're thinking, if you're going to vote for, you know, if you're looking at Doug Jones, if you're looking at Philip Ensler, if you're looking at Lee McInnis, they know that maybe they should too. And it's not going, we need to destigmatize being a Democrat. I mean, we do that by, and the Republicans are helping us do that a lot. But we just need to step up and help them out.